Hi, this is Kelly from The Truth in Story, and today we're going to be continuing our look at Lenormand, but we're going to start looking at it just in context of spreads, because as I talked about in the last video, we really don't read Lenormand cards just randomly with 2 cards, 3 cards. Well, we do with 3 cards, but for the most part we're reading them in context of questions and in context of a spread. And so I'm just going to go through a couple ways of doing that. I'm going to try to use a variety of decks so that you can see a few different decks as we're doing it. And I am going to try to have questions. I actually have a couple questions from friends and family that I am going to, and one is also a client who has allowed me to use sort of a questions just so that we have an actual context for these readings above and beyond just academically. So for this first look, and I'm going to just show you a quick, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I do actually do this. If I'm just going to be drawing a couple cards for a quick question, there is a way that I tend to find I really like to do it. Now, obviously what you can do is just shuffle the cards, right? And then either deal it off the top for 3 cards. Like that, or you can shuffle it, and as you were doing, so then you can shuffle, and then as I do with tarot cards, is sort of kind of move along until you kind of feel that that feels good, a little zing, and then start dealing off of that and deal out your cards. Or what I particularly like doing, because Lenormand is all about the topic cards and it's all about the significator cards. You know, that's really a key aspect. And so what I tend to do, if I'm going to do a quick, you know, I generally don't do a 3 card. I'll do what's technically a 5 card, but you're really, the way I do it, you're reading 4 cards. And again, I do apologize for my shuffling in this thing, because I just, with this tripod, I don't do real good. And this is a kind of awkward deck to shuffle. So this that I'm using right now is the Enchanted Lenormand by Caitlin Matthews that came in that kit that I have a review I just put up. So what I'll do is I'll go through and shuffle. And then the question that we're thinking about today is from a young lady who just wants to know if she's headed in the right direction. And what you could be doing, and we've done other readings and things, so she kind of, you know, has a vague feeling, but she just wants to see if she's on track. And so you could just do a straight, like, 3 card reading or something just for a quick answer. But what I really do like to see is a before and after, because the before, the past cards sort of let us know that we're on the right track, and then we sort of get our answer with the kind of current or near future cards. And so what I will do with this, because I'm going to use a woman as a significator, and so I'll go ahead and shuffle the cards, and then you turn the cards face up so that you can see the cards, and sort of rifle through them until you find the significator card. And so here's the woman card. So I'll lay that down, and hopefully the glare isn't too bad. I may have to adjust this, and I'm going to zoom in too. But you'll find the woman card, and then you'll take the 2 cards from before it, and you will take the 2 cards after it, like that. So it is a 5 card reading. However, this is sort of our significator card. So what that's doing is just sort of finding the cards that are near it, because in Lenormand, it's all about juxtapositions of the cards. So I like this method versus just randomly picking 3 cards or 5 cards out of the deck when I'm not using all 36, because then I'm still, as if I was laying the grand tableau out, these would still be the cards directly before and directly after her. And so I quite like that. I think that works very well, and I get a good sense of readings with that. Now let me see, I should be able to zoom in a little bit here so we can see better. There we go. So here we have the significator card, and we have our 2 past cards, and we have this idea, and again, I've done some readings for this particular person already, and I do apologize in just before we even get started for any random noises you hear in the background. You know that it's Isabel doing what she does best, which is to pick the loudest. Okay, here. There she is, gathering her toys together and picking the squeakiest one. Isabel, hey baby. And there she is. So you can see, I'm not just saying that, it is actually her always finding throughout her toys the fastest car or the loudest toy that she can to do as soon as I start recording. Okay, so as I'm saying, this is sort of a quick look for this person because we've already done some extensive work. We've already done a grand tableau and things like that, and she just wants to get a feel for if she's going in the right direction. She's feeling a little frustrated with how things are going and just wants a really quick look. So it's not anything deep, which is, this is a really good spread for, because we're really just getting 2 quick little things here that tells us what's going on. Now, so in the past, we have here as the focus card a lot of new things having happened. And again, because I know this person and we've done readings, this is very apt for her. And there's been a lot of repetitive discordant new things. So we get this with the broom. We have that sense of things being discordant, being negative, being not in a good sense. And we have had so there's been a lot of new things, but there's also been a lot of discordant new things. That's kind of how I'm picking up on that. So this is definitely the case. And so again, if you are doing a reading for yourself or for somebody that you have some background from, or you've done readings with before, this gives you a touchstone so that okay, I'm locking in in the right situation. And so this certainly has done that for this. And so then the next 2 cards sort of are answering her question of, am I on the right path? And a lot of her issues do have to do with work and the way that her finances are going. And so we do have the sense of movement. She is I love that this showed up, because the way that she even framed her question was that sense of, am I moving in the right direction? And so we get the ship card, which is a card of movement, but it is a long movement. So this is where, yes, she's moving along. It feels like it's going at a snail's pace because it is a long journey. It's not something short, but she is moving towards towards abundance, towards more financial security, towards things just moving forward in a positive way with her finances. So we have that sort of financial movement, but it's not, it's nothing that's going to resolve itself quickly. It's going to take a while. So that's just a really quick look. I just was picking kind of some questions so that we could so you could get a feel of what you might do with it. And again, the past sort of grounded us to let us know, are we going in the right direction? And then the future cards again gave us that quick answer to what she was looking for. So there we have a quick reading there with like a 5-card reading, and I use those a lot when I do my 3 voices. Sometimes I'll do 3 before and 3 after, but then that that's giving you more and more information. If you're just kind of like just wanted a quick, almost like a yes or no, but just sort of confirmational, I really think all you need, because again, we read often in pairs. Even if we have 3 out, we're reading in pairs. And so that gives us a quick way to do it. But sometimes I'll go through, just as I did, find the significator, put 3 down and 3 after, because that just gives us a little bit more information. So I often do it this way when I'm doing my 3 voices, where I'm doing Lenormand, and then I'll pull 3 tarot cards and an oracle card. So this is often how I'll do that. So that's one, there's one example. Okay, the next reading that I'm going to do, I'm going to use the Gilded Reverie Lenormand, and this is a beautiful deck. And there is a chewed up card in here, but the author has graciously said that he would replace it once he's back in the States next month. So I'm really excited about that. So just ignore it if it shows up. This is a gorgeous deck, and it's really good for these smaller readings, because I'm going to do a 6-card reading. But the issue with it, and I'm going to do a review of this because someone has requested it, but the size of it, so here we have a standard Lenormand, which is about the size of a playing card. You can see that it's significantly bigger, and then we get down to, there's the Enchanted, and then there is a mini version. So this is significantly bigger. And that becomes a problem when you're doing a grand tableau and you need a significant amount of space in order to lay the grand tableau. So I've not used this to do a grand tableau like that. I generally use this for cards of the day or for smaller spreads. Now we're probably going to want to zoom back out here, because these are bigger cards. So now with this one, we're going to do a 6-card spread. And in this one, I have a specific question about somebody who's pretty satisfied with their job and with their finances and that sort of thing, but just feels like just everything is a mess and in other ways, and really just wants to know what she's doing wrong, or just what's going on. You know, there's just some confusion here. So what I'm going to do on this one is do a 6-card. Now this one does not use, oops, sorry. I'm trying to make sure these are shuffled well, because these are actually for little readings. And again, this is for a person that I've read quite often for. So, you know, I know a lot of background, so that certainly helps. So this one, though, we're going to take a look at, and I'm not going to use a significator card. This is a 6-card spread, and I have made up a handout again. So we have, oh, see, I shouldn't really probably have fire with handouts. I made up a handout, and it looks crazy, but just trust me, as we're going to step through this, it's all going to make sense, and it's not going to, especially this one, this looks nuts, but it will make sense, I promise. We're going to do one step at a time. So there'll be a link to this below. In the last video, I had given you a handout about the basic Lenormand keywords and things such as that. This one is covering the 6 card that we're going to do right now, the 9 card that you can do both by itself as well as pull out of a grand tableau. So this again is you'll be able to click on this and print this out or save it down to your computer. So on the 6 card, you're going to go ahead and shuffle the cards. And then once you feel like you've shuffled them well, you're going to split them into 3 piles, like that. The tops of the cards are going to form your, so the first card are going to form your top row, your above row. The bottom cards of each deck, or each pile, are going to form the bottom. And there's our chewed up sun, of course. It has to show up. Okay, so now I'm going to just arrange a bit to make. Okay, so now we have these 6 cards here that we've taken from the tops of the piles and the bottoms of the piles. I really like this particular reading, and I do use this quite often. So now you're going to read your triplets across, and this is sort of above and below. This is sort of things going on in the conscious, things going on below in the surface in the unconscious. And so here we have the house, which is about our stability. And she's feeling, in her sense of stability and all of this, she is feeling very oppressed. This is a very apt card for this to come up for her, because she's just feeling like, even though she is financially, which we don't have a finance card showing up, or work card, which makes sense because those are issues she feels like those aren't issues, those are non-issues. So even though like financially and work related and all those types of ways, things are quite stable, but her sense of security, her sense of feeling right with the world is not there. We have a lot of dark clouds that are facing this particular card, and she's feeling quite oppressed and just feels like things just aren't right. So that tells us that there. We do have on the light facing side our bouquet, which is our big luck. This is our good luck. This is good things happening. So we do see that there is going to be some movement towards having circumstances being better, and her sense of well-being being improved. But we really need to get a feeling for how is she going to get there, because she's not feeling that right now. So now we look at our bottom 3 cards just to see, okay, is this going to give us some more information here? So here we have the birds, and this is often to do with pairs and couples. It can be a couple, but it's also to do with verbal communication, and it can be, and which is kind of what I'm feeling here. For me, often this card shows up with little anxieties, little things that are sort of just anxiety, but not like the clouds, which is, the clouds are a very heavy oppression feel, whereas the birds are kind of that little one. So if we're looking at this as a sense that, yes, her sense of stability, her sense of foundations just don't feel right. There's a clouds over that sense of feeling. And we do get the idea this is moving forward. We're also getting the idea that she may be letting anxiety get the best of her. She may be letting little things, because again, I know the situation, as we've said, the bigger things are all in place. Like there's really not any big issues that are causing the problem. So this is kind of letting us know that she's kind of taking the anxieties and the small little daily grind things and letting those become a little bit have too much prominence. They're just starting to eat away at her, which would be a good mouse one, but they're starting to, if you take little things and don't deal with them for quite a long time, then you're going to start to get that that's going to become a bigger problem because they're not being dealt with. But we also then have 2 really good cards right here, right? We have the stars, which is about good fortune. So we have 2 cards actually of good fortune. So that's an actually good thing. But this is also about destiny and finding and guidance and sort of moving in a direction towards your destiny and towards what you want. And so I get the kind of sense that she's got some anxiety because her life isn't moving really. She's in a period in her life in which there isn't a lot of movement because she has young kids, and she's just in that position where, as a single mother with little kids, there's your ability to really make a lot of forward movement, isn't quite there in terms of, self-fulfilling or being fulfilled. You have very limited time. She certainly has very limited time in order to pursue the things that give you a sense of fulfillment. And so I think that this is certainly telling us that that's causing her anxiety, because she isn't able to. Everything that she needs to do for herself becomes quite so much work in order to do it, that it gets left behind, and it's just causing sort of this cycle effect. But then we have here with again at the ends, your 2 end cards are really quite positive. The sun, you can't get much better than the sun card for certain. So this is a very positive, this is about happiness and about success. So we certainly have the sense that she's getting there. I think that she's just letting the little things really accumulate, and some of it is just to do with time. Unfortunately, I want to say it was Jacqueline Kennedy. No, yes, I think it was Jacqueline Kennedy. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, somebody said, or Rose Kennedy Fitzgerald, perhaps. It was one of the Kennedy women, said that women can do everything. Excuse me. That women are capable of doing everything, and I'm paraphrasing. But women can do anything that they want, but they can't do it all at the same time. That there are periods of our lives, and that applies to men as well. This is a woman, so, and giving her circumstances. There are periods of our lives where what fulfills us and makes us feel in a personal way has to sort of take a back burner, because there's so many, again, when you have little kids and there's so much time, if you're working and you're a single parent and you have children that you're trying to make sure you're taking, she is a hard worker and she does everything for her kids and doesn't really have, a secondary parent that helps those things with those things. That means that right now that's really her focus, and so some of it isn't going to be alleviated without just time being different. But we're getting there. Like these cards that are over here on this side that would be more the future are going to get better. So we have sort of a movement towards something good. It's just, we have to give it some time. So you read your cards this way, and then you read your cards in pairs. So you have here, again, the sense of stability, and I'm reading this, this is coming through as anxiety, which happens a lot for me with birds. But there's this little anxiety that's sort of undermining her sense of security and sense of self, and those can be kind of maybe being amplified more than they need to. It's like that sort of, okay, you're just gonna have to take a breath. This is difficult position that you're in right now, which we're seeing right here in this next two. This is a really difficult time. This is a hard time physically. It's a hard time emotionally. It's very draining to to have to do everything on your own, but there will be time for you to fulfill your destiny. There will be time for you to focus on the things that fulfill you as a individual. Obviously, I know that she's quite fulfilled by her being a mother and by being being a mother to her children and taking care of them. But we all have those, need those things that fulfill us on a personal level, and there will be time for that. You will get that movement towards it, and you do need to find a way to work a little bit of that into your life, because you can't just all be doing your duty, so to speak. You do need to feed your soul, because those things make us a better person, make us better mothers, make life more manageable just in terms of feeling like things just aren't right. And then we have our two cards here where we have sort of, very, very positive cards. Like things are going to get better. You're on the right path. You're doing the right thing. Don't let the anxieties sort of build up. So the little anxieties build up and create discord for you. And just maybe work some more things in that do move you a little bit more towards the things that are important to you. And so then you can have a little bit more a sense of good fortune, that's positive feeling, that joy, that's all there. And I know that you have that because you're just generally a positive person. right now you're just feeling a little weighed down, you're feeling a little, just things just aren't right, but you're where you're supposed to be, you're doing what you're supposed to be. This is a time period that needs to be gotten through in a certain sense, and things will be better. The other thing that you can do with this spread, so you read yours this way, then you read your 2 cards this way, and then for some more subtext, or just sort of the internal nature of it, you can read the V's, and these are the blue arrows on the chart. So you can read the this, and this, and this, and this, those sort of V's that you see. And again, the anxiety is causing an oppression. It doesn't really need to be there. You know, it's not unnecessary. There are positive things. Life really is going along, in terms of the bigger scope of things, going along pretty well. So we need to not let these sort of small anxieties and annoyances build up into being something that they're not. So this kind of verifies that things are what you're talking about. And we do have a really good, so we talk about that sense of stability and that core foundation in our household. You know, this is moving along at a path of, here's your stars and your destiny, and here's good fortune. What you're doing is the right thing. You're in the right position. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. It's just one of those times where you need to find some things for yourself so that you are feeling fulfilled, but some of it's just the long, sometimes very overwhelming when you have 2 small children, very active, and you're trying to work and you're trying to take care of everything on your own. It's very difficult, but you are moving in it. So it just kind of confirms what we've already seen. Sometimes we'll get something very different when you move that pattern, and sometimes it's just sort of reinforcing what you're talking about. Like even this sort of reinforces that the little anxieties are causing the oppression. That doesn't necessarily mean it need to be there, because we do have the sun here, that everything is quite right. It's just, you just need to persevere. So there we have a quick way to do a 6-card reading.